Hello and welcome to another episode on the channel. My name is Dean and it's really wonderful to be with you today. In today's episode, we are going to cover everything you need to know about Easter Services 2023. We're going to use ChatGPT to go from start to finish, the ideation process, the creative process, all the way through to final scripting of how we're going to invite people to our Easter services this year. Let's check it out. So as you can see, we've jumped straight into ChatGPT and I've gone right at the beginning to say what are 7 unique creative ideas for church and communicating the Easter message. You'll see we have an Easter egg scavenger hunt that comes up, an interactive passion play which is done many times, maybe an Easter art exhibition, a musical. Then we get down to number 5 here, community Easter services. I think we're all there, we're all doing that on a regular basis. Here, even an Easter family fun day, where you can host a fun day on Easter Sunday with activities such as face painting, balloon animals, games, and crafts. Number 7 is you can do an Easter prayer walk, where you can create a prayer walk around the church grounds with stations that relate to the Easter story. Already, I think the creative juices in our minds can start sparking, and as you have some more conversations with teams around some of these things, I think you can deep dive each of these ideas. We're going to continue down the road here, and we're going to say who were the key characters involved in the Easter story and what role did they play. We can then see centered around the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, but here are some of the other characters. Number 2, Judas. Number 3, Pilate. Number 4, Mary. 5, Joseph of Arimathea. Number 6, the disciples. We have a look at the key characters that were involved. Now, one of 2 things can happen here. We can maybe want to deep dive one of these characters and highlight this person as a person of interest in our Easter Sunday, Friday and Sunday services. So I've said here, tell me more about Mary. We can then go down and it says a key figure in the Easter story, one of the most prominent women in the New Testament. And ChatGPT has chucked out some very, very useful information. I've then gone further to ask, well, what are some quotes that were covered by Mary? And this is one of my absolute favorites in John chapter 20. After Mary Magdalene discovers the empty tomb and sees the risen Christ, she tells the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." So as we continue here, I'm going to say, please, and this is one of my favorite things to do in ChatGPT, is say elaborate. And so I've said, ChatGPT, please elaborate on point number 2. We then see that ChatGPT chucks out even a further bit of information. In John chapter 20, Mary is described as being at the tomb where Jesus' body was placed after his death. She returns to the tomb. We see that Mary has an encounter with the risen Christ. And there is this beautiful moment that happens. And finally here it says, Mary Magdalene's witness to the resurrection is a powerful example of faith and courage in the face of adversity. Her declaration of, "I have seen the Lord," is a reminder to believers that the message of the gospel is not just a historical event, but a living reality that transforms lives today. I've then gone and asked, what are some other images that we could play with around the Easter narrative? Some images or metaphors. And ChatGPT has thrown out a couple here. Number 1, the cross. Number 2, the empty tomb. Number 3, the stone. Number 4, the darkness. And number 5, the resurrection appearances. I have then just once again to go back to the idea of elaborating on text within ChatGPT. I've said, please elaborate on number 4. And so the darkness that fell over the land during the crucifixion is a powerful metaphor that represents the sin and the brokenness in the world. And so as creatives, as pastors, as ministry teams, as production teams, we can begin to see how even this basic conversation with ChatGPT can begin to put loads of flesh and imagery onto what our Sunday and our Friday services could look like over the Easter Passover weekend. We have a look at some sermon illustrations even. The darkness can also be used to illustrate the depth of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. Overall, the darkness that fell over the land during the crucifixion of Jesus is a powerful metaphor that can be used to illustrate the brokenness of the world. Then gone to say, please elaborate more on number 4 with quotes from various prominent Christian writers, and I hope I don't upset anybody here, like Rob Bell. And let's check what ChatGPT says. Rob Bell, when we read of the brokenness that covered the land as Jesus hung on the cross, being told that the weight of the world's pain and suffering was being borne by Jesus in that moment. N.T. Wright, the darkness of Good Friday is not simply gloom before the dawn, it is the darkness of the end of the world, it is the darkness of judgment, the darkness of God's wrath. We then get some John Piper here at number 4, and even Tom Keller. The darkness during Jesus' resurrection reminds us that the Christian message is not that we will never experience darkness or suffering. Rather, the message is that there is hope, even in the midst of darkness. I've then gone to say, and kind of switched on my social media marketing brain here, to ask for 5 possible tweets that we can use from those quotes. And ChatGPT has thrown out 5 tweets with hashtags that we can use to market our Sunday and our Friday services. I've then gone to say, please write a YouTube description for a video promoting our Good Friday and Easter Sunday services around these topics. And what's happened here is ChatGPT has thrown out an entire YouTube description caption for us, that once we've created our video, we would be able to just plug and play that description into our YouTube channel. And what I've done now is taken it even a step further, is to say, wait, I haven't got a video, so what are we going to do? Write a video script to invite people to our services. And you'll see, sure, here's a possible video script to invite people to our Good Friday and Easter Sunday services. Here we go, opening shot of church building with people entering for a service with a voiceover. For thousands of years, the Easter story has been a source of hope, renewal, and inspiration for millions of people around the world. And at our church, we invite you to experience the power of this story for yourself. Cuts to shots of people singing and praying, listening to the sermon, drinking coffee in the coffee shop, volunteers who are high-fiving each other, moments of worship from previous Easter services, with more of a voiceover, other cuts to other Easter imagery, cuts to shots of people hugging and smiling at the services. You can see how the imagery here plays a powerful, powerful part, and ChatGPT is really able to do that for us as we begin to plug in the right questions. Like I said in our previous video, the right questions will give us the right outputs for exactly what we want to use them for. I hope that you found this video helpful. A little bit of a deep dive from start to finish, and some of the elements that are at play when marketing and wanting to create the perfect Friday and Sunday Passover weekend celebration services. Using ChatGPT to play around with illustrations and metaphors from the story, who are some of the key characters, and deep diving into some of the characters' backgrounds even. Going into some quotes around what some of those metaphors might look like from prominent preachers and writers and authors, even into what tweets can be used, what descriptions can be used in YouTube videos, as well as a script to invite people to your Friday and Sunday services this Easter. I hope you found that helpful. Please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to come along for the ride. See you tomorrow.